mind if I write hello, please direct your questions to here?
I've started the meeting, but it's not. I don't think anybody's. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this pre-arrival webinar. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes just to allow a few more people to arrive. Right. Well, we'll let people join. Again, welcome. My name is Martin. I'm the accommodation manager here at Manchester University. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the accommodation arrival. Hopefully, answer some questions that you might have ahead of time. Make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you've got access to kind of all the information and advice that you might need. We do have a Q&A box. We've got the Q&A or the chat, so please feel free to drop questions in there and we'll try and respond to those as quickly as we can, and if not right now, then we'll run through them later as well. If you do still have questions after this session, please do contact the team. We are working obviously through now for the next few days, making sure that everybody is ready, that they know what to do and what to expect, and hopefully enjoy the arrival to university, and we're really looking forward to seeing you over the next few days. So I'll start with kind of what we're going to be talking about. So we are looking at the arrivals into the Manchester managed accommodation. You will hopefully have received a number of emails over the last few weeks, certainly since results day, with information on the induction, the payment plan, and information on the check-in and arrivals process. We're going to be focused on the arrivals over the Friday, Saturday and Sunday coming up. So that's the 12th, 13th and 14th of September. And those are the dates where we've offered out slots for arrival, just to make sure that we've got enough kind of space and we've got the arrival times managed as best we can to allow people to arrive in some kind of orderly fashion, and to try and make sure we give enough time for everybody to get here and to get settled. If you haven't seen your arrival slot yet, or you haven't booked your arrival slot, don't worry, you still can do that, and you will be able to do that via the accommodation portal. So all you need to do is log back onto the portal, log on to Starres using the information that you first booked with, and that means at the top of that page you'll be able to see how to go through that process. You won't be able to see the accommodation arrival slots until you've completed your induction and you've gone through that payment plan set up first. So if you haven't done those two things, make sure you do that. It's really helpful anyway to make sure that you've got all of that done ahead of arriving. We do have 24/7 check-in outside of the arrival slots. So, don't worry if there's not a booking slot that works for you, or if, for whatever reason, you're not able to arrive this weekend, you do want to arrive next week. Don't worry about that. That's absolutely fine. And you don't specifically need to tell us. All you need to do is arrive, head to the Archway reception, which the postcode is up on the screen for you there. And there's going to be staff available 24/7 to help make sure that you can get your key and you can get settled into your room. So for that, for the main weekend coming up, we've got kind of 4 main locations where we're going to have the key collection, and this will be the same as you will have received on your specific arrival or key check-in email. So just head back to that email and you'll be able to see specifically where you've been asked to go and collect your key from. So that could be Archway, which is in the main reception. Again, it's open 24/7, but we will have those key arrival slots from, I think, around 9 till 4:30, 5. Archway has lifts as well, which is helpful. But obviously it is a large building, nearly 500 bedrooms. So that's why having those arrival slots really helps us just give time for people to, stagger that arrival and get kind of everything unloaded and hopefully get settled, and then moving on to allow people behind to come through. If you've been given the Brooks building as your key collection point, that'll be because you're in one of the Dunham, Vine or townhouse properties. So the townhouses could be Naylor, Ward or Dale. So if you've got a booking for any of those properties, you've been invited to the Brooks building, which is one of the academic buildings, the big glass building here. So we'll just be on the ground floor. The team will be there ready to check you in, issue you your key. And again, you'll be able to get out to the blocks. Dunham and Vine also have lifts and stair access to the upper floors. It's well worth noting if you're in the townhouses that there aren't any lifts in those buildings. So it's stairs, and you could be on the 3rd floor. So we'll talk about packing a little bit later on, but it's well worth thinking about that. How much stuff do you really need to bring? How much stuff do you want to bring on that weekend when you're going to have to take it up and down those 3 flights of stairs? It's worth considering. Obviously, we'll have, we'll do what we can to support in terms of providing trolleys from the car park, from your car to get it to the block. But unfortunately, the trolleys aren't helpful when you get to the building. You can't take the trolleys inside, they're too big. So you've still got then to get all of your belongings into the property. Cavendish is the 3rd location. Again, postcode up there. So if you've booked a space in Cavendish, you'll be able to arrive, head to the Cavendish reception on the ground floor, and there is lift access to the accommodation part of the building, but then it is stairs beyond that. So Cavendish is a great spot if you're going to be living there. You're right in the heart of campus, and it's a mixed academic space and residential space. So the first 3 floors are kind of academic, and then the 3rd floor up is the accommodation, but unfortunately the lift only goes to that 3rd floor. So it's again worth considering, what you're going to be bringing, how you're going to be bringing it, making sure that packing and you're giving yourself the best opportunity to get up and down those stairs. And then for Oxford Court, Briarfield, and Needham, there's key collection from the Oxford Court reception. It might be called Wilmot reception on your email. That's the kind of collection, that's the collective term for those 3 properties. So you can head over to Oxford Court, and we do have the arrival slots, but like Archway, they are open 24/7. So if you're not able to make one of the arrival slots, or you miss it, or for whatever reason you're delayed, you need to move it to next week, don't worry, you'll still be able to get in there. And I think I should, just repeat that, whether you're living in Archway, Dunham Vine, townhouses, or Cavendish, at any point you can head back to the Archway reception and the team will be there to support you. So we've got a kind of quick map here just to highlight some of those important key points. So we've got the red circles showing some of the drop-off parking locations. So we do have the multi-storey car park in Burley, which is down here, and you'll be able to access that, as well as some flat floor parking, and that will give you access to the Brooks building, where the key collection point is for Ward, Naylor, Dale, Vine and Dunham. So that's really well located to be able to get access here. Archway, located here. Again, we do have some limited parking around this area for drop-off only, and so you'll be able to access the site and make use of the trolleys to get to and from the property. And then Oxford Court, located here as well, with another key collection with some parking available in and around the Oxford Court courtyard, the Needham Court courtyard as well. So, it's worth having a look, if you get a chance on the map or Google View, just to get familiar with where you're going. We will have lots of the team available throughout the weekend, security support as well to help manage the traffic flow, to kind of show people which way to go. But obviously, it's great that you're here, just to make sure that you're all prepared, and that will make it hopefully a lot better and a lot easier for you on the day. Cavendish is the final key collection point on this map. So we've got the reception where you can go and collect your key, and we are going to have a bit of a one-way system coming into next to the Students' Union building here, and onto this main road, Chatham Street, where you'll be able to park on either side, and then take belongings into the hall, and then come out the other way. And I'm sure many of you will be making long journeys to come and join us, so I've just highlighted a couple of places on campus where we'll have cafes open for refreshments, but there's lots and lots going on around as well if you do want to head out and find something. Just to give you a sense of where we are, the train station up here, Oxford Road, is towards the city centre, and this is Oxford Road, which is that main kind of corridor, that main road into the city centre itself, and all of the accommodation is really close to, or part of the main campus, so you're in a fantastic place when you arrive to get familiar and get to explore. So, parking. This is, of course, a key thing when it comes to arrivals. It's great being in the city centre because, you've got a fantastic place to live with loads of exciting things going on. The slight challenge with being in the city centre is, as you can imagine, there's not loads of parking around campus, certainly not for long-term stay over this weekend. So we really, want to encourage everybody to be able to arrive, and we want to make sure that everybody's got a fair opportunity to kind of park up, go and collect their key, and then take their belongings out, and then move on to allow somebody else to use that space and to park behind them. So although you've been issued the arrival slots with, I think, an hour and a half window, that's really just to help manage the time between all of those people in that arrival window, kind of getting here, understanding that there'll potentially be challenges when it comes to traffic, and not everything runs obviously smoothly to the minute when you're packing up in the morning and you're trying to get away. Completely understand that. So that arrival slot helps just give that window of time where we're able to help get people through. However, the actual time that we try to keep to, with kind of cars being parked up in the outside the halls or in those kind of car parks that we do have available, we try to keep that to a drop off of about 20 minutes. So we'll do that, like I say, just to give everyone a fair chance. When you arrive, the team will help you kind of get parked in the best location for where you're going to be collecting your key and where you're going to be living. We'll then, help by making sure that you've got trolleys, things like that, where you can take belongings from your car and get them over to the accommodation. We'll also give you a card, which will give you some information. We'll ask you to write down your phone number, or one of the individuals in the vehicle to write down their phone number, so we can get in contact with you in case there's any kind of blocking or issues going on, or if it's taking a bit of time and we want to make sure that people are coming through. So there's lots of help on the ground, but the best thing you can do, and I think can be really helpful for others, is to try and, as best you can, get there for the arrival slot, and as best you can work towards that 20 minutes to remove things. We're not asking for parents, friends, people helping you drop off or helping you arrive to just have to disappear and go home. More than welcome. We want you to stay around and have the opportunity to explore. And we've provided a list of kind of longer stay car parks which are nearby, all within a 10-15 minute walk of the campus, of the accommodation where we are. So I would recommend taking a look at those different options. We'll have that information again available on the day, but you're well ahead of the curve here. So if you get a chance to look at some of those car parks and see where it is relative to your key check-in point, it can really help, because then you can move off. It allows somebody else in behind you. Once the car's away, then you can, settle down and enjoy the rest of the day. So that's really kind of, I would say, one of the biggest challenges is just making sure that everybody gets that fair chance to be as close as possible to the main accommodation areas. Take a look at those spots, but as I said, packing can make a big difference to how easy this is, whether it's kind of thinking about what you got in boxes, in bags, those types of things that just make it easier to kind of get in and out of the car, and also how much you want to bring. There's information on the website about your rooms, about what we provide, what you don't necessarily need to bring. And that can be really helpful, just making sure that you're not necessarily feeling overwhelmed with all of the packing. We do, again, encourage, just because of space in the car parks, that people only bring one vehicle per student, just because it makes more, it gives more chance for everybody to arrive and find their space. And that can obviously limit the amount that you've got. There's lots of opportunity. There's loads of places to pick stuff up in the city. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll end up with more than you expected towards the end of your stay. So if you are, still thinking about what to bring, what you might need to bring or not to bring, then go to the accommodation website, and there's a whole section on what to bring for arrivals. It also will then provide information on bed sizes and things like that, if you want to make sure that you're packing the right bedding and all that good stuff. So yeah, please do take a note of that, and those link or the list of car parks is also available on the website. So when it comes to check-in, what we'll try to do is, as soon as you arrive and you've got parked, is get you to the key collection desk as soon as possible. Here again, you can help make this a smoother process by having your MMUID number ready. So this is the number that you will have received when you got your offer to university. It's the one that you registered onto the accommodation portal with. That'll be your number all the way through university. And also some photo ID, because we want to make sure that we're giving the key to the right person. So having that all ready and in your pocket, not leaving it in the car, and having to go back once you get to the desk, all of those things can help. We also have a pass key, which hopefully you will have seen on the portal. And if you've completed all of those steps and you've got your arrival slot, then you can log back on, and on the top of the portal you can click to see your kind of arrival pass key, and that will mean that when you get to the key collection desk, the team can just scan you and check you in directly on the system, and we'll get the key straight to you. So when you've got the key, you'll have a little envelope, and in that envelope we've got a simple leaflet with some information on what's going to be kind of useful and important to you right there and then. We know that everyone will be really excited to get to their room and start to kind of move their belongings in and get settled. So this just helps with some of that key stuff, making sure you know how to get onto the Wi-Fi. That's obviously one of the most important things to do. And then some of those quick wins around laundry, insurance, Wi-Fi, all that stuff, parcels. So there's more information, obviously, as you go through this first week, but it's just helpful to kind of have all of that ready to hand. And if you haven't, or hopefully you will have seen this already, but if you haven't, please do go through the residential induction. We've put it together to help prepare you, hopefully to make sure that you've got everything set up and ready to go, so that when you do arrive, not only do you kind of know about that day and that process, but also all the things that you can do to prepare. Some of those things will be downloading apps. There's loads and loads of apps, which, as you can imagine, is the way it is now. But I would suggest specifically the apps we've listed here. So Safe Zone is really, really helpful. It connects to the campus security team. It's a way of getting support at any point, whether that's first aid or just support from any of the campus security team at the touch of a button. You can check yourself in when you're on campus. You can have it as auto check-in. So at any point, if you need help, then you can just press that, and campus security know exactly where you are, and they can contact you and they can get to support you. The My MMU app, which I've got an image of later, is really helpful over the next coming weeks. That's where you can see your timetable. That's where you've got frequently asked questions about all things Manchester Met, and where you can ask questions of the Student Hub team. So that's well worth having a look at and seeing whether you can add that to your download list now. Circuit Laundry app, all of the payments through our laundry rooms is via Google Pay, Apple Pay, or via the app if you want to use it that way. But it's also helpful to be able to see washing machines, whether they're free, not free. So again, I'm not expecting you to be doing this on your first night, but it might be worth having a look at that first, seeing what it's all about, and then you're not having to kind of worry about it in the first few days. We do provide personal contents insurance with the rent. So that's included, and that's provided by a company called Howdens, and they also have an app which allows you to check what their what the policy is. You can get the policy number, you can see what it covers. If there is something specific that you're concerned about when it comes to kind of your insurance or your belongings, or perhaps you're bringing a musical instrument or something particularly expensive, you can actually top up that contents insurance at a much better rate, a cheaper rate going through Howdens. So it's worth having a look at that if that's something you want to do. But it also means, like I say, you've got that peace of mind of the coverage that we've already included in the room. The internet, important, as I mentioned, getting straight onto Glide. Having their app helps, not only just going through that process of setting up your passkey. So your Glide passkey allows you to, once you've registered and set up that first account, it gives you, kind of like your home Wi-Fi, it gives you a unique passkey that means every other device, you don't have to go through the registration process again. You should just be able to add that passkey and get all of your internet connected devices onto your room Wi-Fi really, really quickly. And if you want to add any more later on, it's really simple. So it's well worth doing that. And if for whatever reason, you're struggling with anything to do with the internet, Glide are the best place to go initially to get that sorted. And they've got, great chat, 24/7 support where you can ping them a message and they'll get back to you and try and help you get back online as quickly as possible. And then the last one on the list is Spectrum Life. So this is a 24/7 support kind of package which is available to all students at Manchester Met. So if at any time you just need to speak to somebody, chat to somebody, then they've got either an app or a WhatsApp where you can text hi and somebody will get back to you. It's trained counsellors kind of outside of the institution, but they can help support you if you've got any kind of concerns or worries, or you're just feeling like you need to talk to somebody, and if you're not the Res Life team aren't around, or you just want to speak to somebody different, then that's a great option for you. We've already mentioned the What to Bring guide. With the What to Bring guide, there's also a What Not to Bring guide. So it's well worth checking that out as well. For everybody's safety, there's certain things that we don't allow in the accommodation, certain things that we aren't able to have in rooms or in the communal kitchens. So that could be things like candles, it could be deep fat fryers, it could be large speakers for obvious reasons, in case that causes issues. It's fine if they're being used outside or for a specific reason, but certainly not to be used in the accommodation where you've got flatmates. Obviously, we can't have anything to do with kind of open flames or smoking in the accommodation. So it's really worth having a look at that and making sure that kind of what is helpful to bring and then what not to bring. The other thing I'd say is, maybe you don't have to bring, the toaster, or you don't have to bring a toasty maker or an air fryer, because often what we'll find is, everybody in the flat will bring one, and then if you've got a flat of 8, you might end up with 8 air fryers, and actually, you don't necessarily all need one. So, for some students, it might be better to wait and see, talk to your flatmates, maybe chip in a few quid and go and get something from one of the shops nearby. And that can be a lot more kind of sustainable over the long term. We also have a great system with the Students' Union where we have what's called the Union Cupboard. So for students who've perhaps left or don't want to keep certain things from their student house anymore, they've donated it to the Student Union Cupboard, and then it's free and available for other students, for new students. So a great way to be sustainable, but also to kind of watch those pennies and make sure that you're not buying things that you might not necessarily need. So that's all well and good, but obviously the main reason or the most exciting part about kind of this arrivals weekend is getting the chance to meet everybody, to be part of the Manchester Met community, to meet your flatmates, to meet those in the building and around in all of the accommodation. So we have a big welcome event on Sunday. We'd really encourage everybody to come down. Hopefully it won't rain, we'll see. Don't worry if it is raining, we'll make sure we've got somewhere inside to go. But we'll have loads of free food. So when you get here, you'll also get a ticket that'll give you free food and drink at this event. We're hopefully going to have everything from a pizza bus to Mexican, Indian food, hot dogs, loaded hot dogs. So lots of exciting things going on. We'll also have loads and loads of information stalls as well. So just to get you set up, we'll have colleagues from campus security, from the sports team, wellbeing services, the peer guides who are current students who can help talk about their experiences and getting settled into university. There'll be people from Glide, from Howdens. There'll be the Archway medical centre as well, where you can get signed up with the GP. All that helpful stuff that it's really useful to do, particularly in that first week before that main kind of university welcome and that main Freshers Week starts. And there's lots more going on, and your time gets filled up with loads of other great activities. So it's well worth joining us at the welcome event. It's going to start at 1 o'clock in the Brooks building, which is that main glass building I showed at the start of the presentation. So no matter when you arrived, everybody, if you can come down, that'd be great. And it's a fantastic opportunity to meet loads of people. So we do get this question a lot. Once you've checked in, kind of what's next, which is fine. You've got time. I wouldn't worry about it. There's lots of opportunity and lots of support out there. The main thing, of course, is getting settled in initially. But don't worry, we've got lots of comms and lots of places to get support in the week after you arrive. The first thing will be an inventory that will go out. So once you've arrived in your room, hopefully everything's great and as you expect. If not, you can use the inventory just to mark anything down, and there's a form that will take you through that process. Equally, don't wait if there's something you do arrive and unfortunately something is broken. Like I say, hopefully that's not going to be the case, but if it is, don't wait for the inventory either. Just let us know. Contact us, email us, call reception, and we'll get that sorted for you as soon as possible. Once you've gone through that process, you'll be looking to enroll and get your MMU ID card. So that's your photo ID for university. There's going to be opportunities at business school and the Brooks building to be able to go and collect your card. You can enroll online. You can upload your photo, and doing those things makes the whole process much faster when it comes to getting your card and getting fully enrolled. But there's time through that week. You don't need to do it on the Saturday. You don't need to do it on the Sunday. You've got time over that first week to make sure that you're fully enrolled and you've got the opportunity to get your card. I've put up an image of the MMU app. So another helpful thing when you're thinking about what's next for timetables, where you're going to be. So you can see on there's lots of helpful links through to different parts of the university, whether that's, like I say, seeing your timetable, Moodle, where you'll see all of your kind of online courses. You'll be able to review any of the induction courses as well. Your email, which is really important to keep checking that to make sure that you're picking up on the latest information, and that app will guide you through that next stage as you're getting ready for study. So within accommodation, after that main arrivals event, We will then have a full events program running through then really for the rest of the time that you're living with us. But during that first few weeks, it will be focused on, helping everybody get together, giving an opportunity for you to meet people who are perhaps outside of your flat, outside of your block. And there'll be opportunities for campus tours, orientation to the local area. That might be supermarket trips just to make sure you know where the nearest supermarket is. It could be, trip to the local IKEA, that type of thing. So lots of ways to kind of get to know where we are. The Res Life team includes current students, some of whom are living with us, but they're in their second or third year, so they know what it's all about. They've been in this situation, they've arrived at uni, they've had a chance to kind of go through it and meet people for the first time in shared flats. So they're a really great group of people to talk to take advice from, and they can signpost you to all different areas of the university. So whether that's a question about academics, about finance, about enrollment, whatever it is, they'll be able to help you out. So please, do take the time to come to the events, talk to the team, say hello, and there's often lots of free food. So that's a great reason, if anything else. And then, let's keep in touch and make sure that you're continuing to get the best information possible. I'm really grateful for everyone joining us this afternoon, but there will be more information coming out over the coming weeks. You can always come down to the reception at Archway or at Cavendish to speak to the team. Please do check your emails regularly. Once you've got that university email address and also the email that you booked your accommodation with, because there will still be messages going to those email accounts, and it's really helpful to see what's going on, whether it is perhaps to do with a maintenance thing or whether you've had some post delivered. We will send you an email as a way to say, this is up, this is what you need to do. So keep an eye on those emails. You can follow us on Instagram. So if you can use the QR code there, that'll take you through to the Res Life Instagram, where we'll post all of the events and activities that are going on, what's happening that night or perhaps over the next few weeks. So it's really useful to keep an eye on that. This year we've launched a podcast called The Common Room. If you've not had a chance to listen to that already, it's, I think, really good introduction to what it's like starting uni for the first time. So that's one of our Res Life team talking about their experience and where they lived. And it's just great to hear, what they did and how they felt about it. And then when you do arrive, we'll also have lots of QR codes around the check-in points for the WhatsApp groups. So these are more specific to the particular halls you'll be living in. So Archway will have a WhatsApp group. Dale will have a WhatsApp group. Dunham, for example, Cavendish, and they're specific to each site, and that means that we can send much more specific information to those areas about what's happening, events, activities, or anything else that you need to know about the building. So lots and lots of different ways to keep in touch, and the best thing is to try and kind of have access to all of this stuff. You might not need it all the time, but it's really useful to have it, so that when a message just go out, you can see it straight away. So thank you very much for listening this afternoon. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I say, the key points really are, make sure you've gone through that process, if you haven't already, of induction and accessing the arrival slots. Make sure you know where you're going to be arriving. All that information will have been in the email that you were sent. And if you're not sure, please contact the team. Please do consider the challenges around the arrivals, and that we're trying to make it as kind of smooth as it can be for everybody. So we're not making it harder for anybody in particular. And the best way we can do that is be prepared and try and help the flow of traffic, particularly as people are unloading. And of course, then just get involved. It'd be great to see you, great to meet you, great to see you at the events and the activities, and hopefully you have a fantastic time. So if you do have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out accommodation@mmu.ac.uk. Thank you very much. I'll surely see you soon.